Welcome back. We are now reviewing the nervous system. Okay, it's an exceptionally well-organized body system composed of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves that's responsible for controlling and coordinating all other systems of the body and makes them work harmoniously and efficiently. Neurology is a scientific study of the structure, function, and pathology of the nervous system. This is one of the most important systems of the body. Okay, there are three divisions of the nervous system. The central nervous system is the brain, the spinal cord. It controls consciousness and all mental activities, functions of the five senses, seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, and tasting, and voluntary muscle actions, including all body movements and facial expressions. Okay, voluntary means you think about it and you do it. You move your hand, anything that's voluntary. You raise your arm, you smile, you frown. Peripheral nervous system is made up of sensory and motor nerve fibers that connect the peripheral parts of the body, which are the outer parts of the body, to the central nervous system. It has both sensory and motor nerves, and it carries messages to and from the central nervous system. Autonomic nervous system controls the involuntary muscles, regulates the action of the smooth muscles, glands, blood vessels, and heart. Okay, you don't think about your heart beating. That is autonomic. It just automatically does it. Okay, the brain and the spinal cord. Let's see what I've got here. I'm going to put this up in front. Can we see this? There it is. If I set it down, you can't see it. So I'm going to try and hold it fairly steady so that you can see some of this. Okay, the brain is contained in the cranium. It is the largest and most complex organization of nerve tissues. It controls sensation, muscles, the activity of the glands, and the power to think, sense, and feel. The spinal cord, which I do not have a nice big picture of, it's kind of on there, but anyway, is the portion of the central nervous system that originates in the brain and extends down to the lower extremity of the trunk. Okay, it's protected by the spinal column. Okay, this is the picture of all the cranial nerves. Let me move it out a little ways. Okay, we're going to go over all of these things. You might want to do a quick screenshot of that or something just to have that handy. I'll put some other ones up there too, okay? So, nerves, they're kind of white cords made up of bundles of nerve fibers. They're held together by connective tissue through which impulses are transmitted. Nerves have their origin in the brain and spinal cord and send their branches to all parts of the body. There are different types of nerves. Sensory or afferent nerves. Okay, sensory nerves carry impulses or messages from sense organs to the brain, where sensations of touch, cold, heat, sight, hearing, taste, smell, pain, and pressure are experienced. Motor nerves, which are also called efferent nerves, carry impulses from the brain to the muscles. The transmitted impulses produce movement. And then reflex, the simplest form of activity in the nervous system that includes sensory and motor nerves, is the reflex. A reflex is an automatic response to a stimulus that involves a movement of an impulse from a sensory receptor along an afferent nerve to the spinal cord. Okay, nerves of the head, face, and neck. Oh, I have a picture of that too. Here we go. Really wish I could get a place to sit this where you could see it really well, but and let me pull it out so you can see. Again, you might want to screenshot this. Okay, the fifth cranial nerve, also known as trifacial nerve or trigeminal nerve, is the chief sensory nerve of the face and serves as the motor nerve of the muscles. Sorry, I'm trying not to wiggle this at the same time. That control chewing. Okay, fifth cranial nerve. Chief sensory nerve of the face, serves as the motor nerve of the muscles that control chewing. There are a lot of nerves. This is just your head, face, and neck. Okay? The ophthalmic nerve supplies impulses to the skin of the forehead, upper eyelids, and interior portion of the scalp, the orbit, the eyeball, and the nasal passage. Okay? Ophthalmic nerve. The mandibular nerve affects the muscles of the chin, lower lip, and external ear. I keep dropping it, don't I? I'm sorry, guys. Maxillary nerve supplies impulses to the upper part of the face. The seventh cranial nerve, also known as the facial nerve, is the chief motor nerve of the face. Okay, the fifth cranial nerve is the chief sensory nerve of the face. The seventh cranial nerve is the chief motor nerve of the face. It emerges near the lower part of the ear. Its divisions and branches supply and control the muscles of facial expression, and it extends to the muscles of the neck. Again, this is in your book. There is the posterior auricular nerve that affects the muscles behind the ear at the base of the skull. The temporal nerve affects muscles of the temple, side of the forehead, the eyebrow, the eyelid, and the upper part of the cheek. The zygomatic nerve affects muscles of the upper part of the cheek. The buccal nerve or buccal nerve, whichever way you want to pronounce it, affects the muscles of the mouth. And then there's the marginal mandibular nerve. It affects the muscles of the chin and lower lip. And then you have cervical nerves. Okay, the cervical nerve affects the side of the neck and the platysma muscle. We just went over muscles, so. And then the 11th cranial nerve is also known as the accessory nerve. It's a motor nerve that controls the motion of the neck and shoulder muscles. This nerve is important to cosmetologists because it is affected during facials, primarily when you're doing the massage. Okay, nerves of the arm and hand. Oh, look, there it is right there. Again, I wish I had something to set this on. Okay, at least there's not very many there. The digital nerve, okay, is the sensory motor nerve that with its branches supplies impulses to the fingers. The radial nerve is a sensory motor nerve that with its branches supplies the thumb side of the arm and the back of the hand. The median nerve is a sensory motor nerve that is smaller than the ulnar and radial nerves, and that with its branches supplies the arm and hand. And then the ulnar nerve is a sensory motor nerve that with its branches affects the little finger side of the arm and the palm of the hand. Okay, those are the four there in the nerves of the arms and hands. Okay. Lower leg and foot. That's the muscles. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. And this one, I don't know if I can get both of them on there. You know what? I'm going to try and stand this up and then just move the camera a little bit, okay? There we go. Oh, need to back up my thing here. There we go. Nerves of the lower leg and the foot. This is the end of this one. Again, another very short lecture. Lots and lots of information. Again, you might want to screenshot this. The sciatic nerve is the largest nerve and the longest nerve in the body. It passes through the gluteal region into the thigh, where it branches into smaller nerves. Pain from injury or compression of the sciatic nerve can radiate throughout the abdomen and be sensed in the lower back, the hip, or the lower abdomen. The tibial nerve is a division of the sciatic nerve that passes behind the knee. It subdivides and supplies impulses to the knee, muscles of the calf, the skin of the leg, and the sole, heel, and underside of the toes. Common peroneal nerve is a division of the sciatic nerve that extends from behind the knee to wind around the head of the fibula to the front of the leg, where it divides into two branches. The deep peroneal nerve, also known as anterior tibial nerve, extends down the front of the leg behind the muscles. It supplies impulses to these muscles and to the muscles and skin on the top of the foot and adjacent sides of the first and second toes. Superficial peroneal nerve, also known as musculocutaneous nerve, extends down the leg just under the skin, supplying impulses to the muscles and the skin of the leg, as well as to the skin and toes on the top of the foot, where it becomes the dorsal nerve. The dorsal nerve, is that on there? Oh, yep, there it is, on the left there at the foot. The dorsal nerve is also known as dorsal cutaneous nerve. It extends up from the toes and foot just under the skin, supplying impulses to the toes and foot, as well as the muscles and skin of the leg. The saphenous nerve supplies impulses to the skin of the inner side of the leg and foot. It begins in the thigh. Okay, also that is on the left. And then the sural nerve supplies impulses to the skin on the outer side and back of the foot and leg. Okay, again, you might want to screenshot this. I believe this picture is in your book, so check that out too. But that is it for nerves. Next section is going to be circulatory system. Just a quick little reminder of what we have here. The systems, can you see them? Okay, muscular we've done, respiratory coming up, skeletal we've done, nervous we've done, integumentary coming up, circulatory coming up, endocrine, reproductive, lymphatic, immune, excretory, and digestive. Those will probably be all put together in one, excuse me, one longer video, just because there is a little less for you to know about that. We don't deal with a lot of that stuff in those areas, since we can only touch, armpits up and knees down. So a lot of that is just general things that you need to know. Circulatory, yes, which will be our next video, but the rest of them are all a little less important for us to know as well. So I will see you next go round.